Hello. Hello, everyone. How are you? So I'll just, I'm not even going to check I'm connected. I'm going to trust that I'm connected through this live stream. So hello. Happy Wednesday, whatever day of the week we are. I wanted to jump on here and just share a quick message really that came through for those of you who need a little midweek reminder. And it's around stepping stones. So maybe you can release that stepping stones shifting forwards and actually leap. And this is what I wanted to share with you because I've been doing it myself in my own life. And I know that some of you are also feeling this, and that maybe some of you have souls that are nudging you into the same. And how you might know is that you might really feel a little restless, right? A little bit it's quite an uncomfortable feeling when it comes up, but a little bit like it's almost uncomfortable to slow yourself down, or it's uncomfortable to stay where you are, whereas before maybe it felt like you could tolerate that and it was okay. A lot of the times when we're ready for an expansion, it can start to feel really quite uncomfortable in the body. So let me know if you're experiencing this in any area. I'd love to know. Also say hello, pop a message below so I can see you're here watching live or on the replay. But I wanted to encourage you, really. This is more like a message of encouragement. So I know a lot of you in this group and most of you are working on your own development, maybe you're creating things, businesses, creative things, you're stepping up into your next level, whatever you're doing. I love to hear what you're doing as well. Hello, beautiful Facebook user. I can't see who it is. Hold on. Who is this saying hello to me? I'd love to know. Yeah, if you don't click on the link, I can't see who you are. Hold on. Hello. Let me just see who you are because I want to know who's here. All right, let's see who's joining me. Oh, Emma, hello. How are you? Lovely to have you here. And Sabra, hello. Oh, it's so nice to have you here. And I know you guys are creating things and doing things and being things in the world. So I love that you're here as well. So I wanted to just share with you, because a lot of the energy that's coming in this year, thick and fast, is this kind of coming away from the linear, logical, very sensible stepping stones, right? Hi, Lisa from Canada. Hello. So good to have you all here. I love it. I've missed you all because I've not live streamed for a little while. So it's nice to be back in here. So it's like, think about the logical, linear, structured, very sensible way, right? You probably have friends and family who are all about the very sensible way of doing things. And they would sort of have you believe, and the world would have you believe, that there is a very logical, linear order. You work your way up to things. You do one thing at a time. Now, I'm not saying that we abandon that completely. For example, if you're on some sort of training course, you're obviously going to go through that in a logical order. What I'm talking about here is those kind of moves you want to make in your life, right? Whether it's your relationships, your personal life, your business, your creativity, your whatever it is, even in your own growth, things you want to let go of, things you want to step into. Sometimes we can feel, and I've definitely caught myself in this trap of, we'll kind of just wait and we'll build ourselves up to this, and we'll do this thing when this other thing is in place. So just catch yourself right now if that is you. And as I'm saying it, just tune in and see which areas, because you're going to know if there are any areas right now that you're doing this in. Right. So I've been doing this a lot. I've done this a lot in my life. So I'm very honest and open with that. Like my book that I've been writing, I've been really having all sorts of stuff coming up around that. And it was like, I can only do this thing when I've done this thing. I had a weird thing about, I can only do a podcast when, I don't know what the when was. I don't really quite know what the stepping stones I'd put in place for that. But I made this kind of weird rule up. Like, I'll do a podcast when I have more traction on this thing here. It's like, it made no sense. Like, what about if you just decided today, like right now, that the thing that you're wanting to do or step into or even release, it could be that way too. What if you just took the leap and just did it now? And I know that sounds really obvious, but do you know how many times we don't do that? You know how many times we just, I don't know, it's like we wait for a permission slip or something. What if we didn't do that? So what I've done, and I shared it in here on, if you tuned into my 22nd of February 2222, I'll probably add an extra 2 there, but you know, that expansion session I did, for those of you who were there and you watched it, I did say that I'm writing my book, and I'm going to check back in here at the end of the month and let you know whether I've actually done it, because I said I was going to write the first draft. So I've been doing this and writing this, and I actually put a post out on my personal profile a couple of days ago, I forget, where I kind of put it out in the world. And that was, for me, it was like taking a leap, because, and it might not have looked like that maybe to some, but to me it was like, I'm not going to do it in the stepping stones way, where I'm going to write this book and then edit it and polish it and spend a year on it and la la la. I don't want to do it that way. I know people do want to do it that way, but for me it just felt like, well, what if I just jumped over the stepping stones finally, after procrastinating for like 41 years of my entire life. Apart from the first few years maybe where I couldn't write, fair enough, didn't write a book, that was fine, but it's taken me a long time, right? So what if I was to jump over the stepping stones and just leaped into, I'm going to be an author, I'm going to write this book, I'm going to put it out in the world, and I'm going to hold myself accountable, which I've done now. I just did it. I just took action, and I've been sort of trying to show up now in my life of going, I am someone who writes. I'm a writer. I'm going to call myself a writer, amongst other things that I do, right? But I never really called myself a writer because I was waiting and waiting and waiting. So what in your life can you just step into? Like for some, it might be anything. Like, let me know below in the comments, or even later when you've thought about it, come back, or when you're watching the replay. What other thing? What can you just, if you gave yourself permission to just jump over some stepping stones and go into it, what would you do? What would you do? So I'll just see what else am I doing. I've like the podcast. So I've put a link, by the way, up in the description somewhere, wherever you're watching this. I've just put another episode in. So I've done a few episodes now, and yeah, this one, it might actually be related, funny enough, to what I'm talking about, because it's about getting out of your comfort zone, right, by jumping over stepping stones. So I've just released an episode just talking through about how soul alignment doesn't mean that it's always comfortable, and I talked a little bit about a couple of different ways of moving out of your comfort zone, and I've also put a little activation kind of for you to just listen and receive on the podcast. So check out the podcast. There's a link above there. Let me know if you do check it out. Let me know what you think, because I've just released that podcast last week. So that was another version of me just stepping. Okay, so I would step into total freedom. Okay, I love that. I'm all about freedom. What would that look like to you? Because that is, I love that. I love that whole like expansiveness of freedom, but sometimes that can even still feel a little bit like, what would that mean? So if you were to step into total freedom, which I'm all for, then what? Because I'm guessing there'll be something, because you're in this total freedom, what would you be experiencing? Because it's so good to get really specific with these things, right? And the more visionary we are, by the way, the harder it is sometimes, excuse me, to kind of get more specific and concrete. Like I often have to kind of pull the vision in and go, okay, in practical sense, what is that? But I'd love to know, yeah, what would total freedom look like for you? You know, because that's what it's about, right? That is one of my top values. Like if I'm not living a life where I feel freedom, like really, what's the point in creating what I'm creating? I want to shift it. So I love that. Let me know. So yeah, that's what I really wanted to share with you, and just kind of give you like, sometimes we just need a nudge. Sometimes we just need to hear a reminder like this in the middle of the day or evening, whenever you're watching. Sometimes like often these messages are obvious, but we just need to hear them outside of ourselves, somebody else saying the words, right? So we've heard it and we've gone, okay, I can do that. I can step out. So I'd experience the freedom of not caring what others think. I love that. The freedom of being seen. Yes. And I wonder for you, would it be the visibility thing, because I know that you do videos, right? I've definitely seen, I love your messages, right? I've seen them. So it's like, if you just, that is such a big one. I love that, because I kind of felt that I went through some of that, and I'm still doing it, by the way. And I've been thinking about this more recently because there are layers to it. So it's like, what if we really dropped caring about what others think? That's a huge one. I love it, because that, like it or not, that impacts most of us. Like most of us, like I don't think I can ever put out a message there to say I actually don't give a shit what anyone thinks. Sometimes I feel that, sometimes I really do, or maybe I have shared messages like that where I've gone, I don't care what anyone thinks, because in that moment I do. But I'll always sort of come back to this kind of I do really care what people think. Like if I put a message out and everybody hated it and I had 20 people getting angry and upset with me, I'd probably cry. I'd probably feel really like, why are people misunderstanding it? Why have I just hurt like 20 people? So I do care what people think. But I know what you mean. It's like stepping into this place of like, what if you by expressing yourself or being seen and showing up and not really tuning into what those people, everybody thinks, but it's tuning into your people. And that's what I've been doing. It's like, if I just share, like I shared a meme yesterday where I wouldn't have done that like before. It was like it was like a politically maybe incorrect meme, whatever, I don't care. I shared it because it was funny and I believed it and it made me laugh and it made my people that get me laugh. And if people didn't find it funny but they understood me, they would know that that was just my humor. People that didn't find it funny and got offended by it and thought I was a complete bitch for saying it, they're not my people. They don't understand me and they never will. So let those people fall away, right? So that is like just stepping stones, jumping over the stepping stones and just being in your power. So I love that for you. I love that. So, oh, Emma, just stepped out of my 6-year relationship. Yes, you have. And feeling this new beginning and new life energy and abundance. Oh, I love that. I love that. I love you. So much to explore right now. Yes, that is, you're in such a, like, I want to say magical transition. And I'm being, and I know that even though it's a decision that you made, it can still bring up feelings because it's like a really strange place for you to be in. But yeah, I'm just getting straight through. I've got my channel sort of open straight away. I'm getting like, this is your huge expansion for you. Huge expansion, because a lot of that was you shedding your old identity and old layers. And this is happening a lot right now with relationships, like whether it's our partners or friends or family, there's so much dynamics, right? As you know. So yeah, there's like huge changes. So yeah, you're going to have a lot of expansion off the back of it, because you're going to be, it's like shedding, they just show me like shedding. Oh, I've got like tingles, yeah, like shedding the old energies. And you've done a lot of that. You've done a lot of shedding your energies and stepping into new, really empowered ways of being. But there's so much more for you. You are an expansive lady. So thank you for sharing that. Yeah, that there's so much coming your way. So much coming your way. I love it. Okay. So let's see, hold on. Oh, you are welcome, Sabra, you're welcome. My big revelation this week is that I have to stop letting the question how, I'm just seeing who's, so I know who you're, oh yeah, Lisa, you're welcome, Sabra, yeah. Lisa, my big revelation this week is that I have to stop letting the question, how will I manage it when I have it, slow down my manifesting. Oh, that's an interesting one. Yeah, how will I manage it when I have it? So I'm wondering, does that feel like, how will I manage it when I have it? If that brings up, that could be an exciting, magical, wandering energy, or I'm guessing it might be more like, oh, how will I manage it when I have it, where it feels a little bit overwhelming and a little bit like, not so expansive. So just see how it sits with you and just see the energy. You might want to listen to the activation I put into the podcast. So the link's there. It's the last thing I put in there, so it's easy to find, but it's just expanding the comfort zone. Because sometimes it's like whatever it is that you're manifesting, imagine if you hold it in your hand or you can even visualize this. Hold it in your hand, imagine, and just kind of hold it in your hand and just start getting used to it. So like receive it energetically and then start almost getting used to the weight of it, right? The feel of it, the energy of it. And then you start to practice. This is normal. This is normal. So then it starts to become a part of you that you can just naturally, of course you can hold this. Of course you can manage it. It's who you are to receive it, right? It's who you are. It's part of your expansion. So sometimes it's just like opening up to receiving these new things that brings up other stuff in itself, right? Yeah. So let me know how that feels, because yeah, you might like that kind of just gentle expanding your zone of comfort and play around with just like literally visualize. This is what I've been doing a lot of recently, just visualizing. And really, funny enough, I've been putting my hands out like that and imagining the things that I'm wanting to come in, and then just kind of pulling it into my heart and just kind of really pulling it in energetically and like belonging to it. So there's no way you can't manage it. It's not too much. It's just part of your being, right? But I'm excited to see what you're going to manifest. I love that. But isn't it great to get those revelations when we kind of we can see what it is that's kind of getting in our way as well. I love that. I love that. So Emma, I stood under a waterfall naked last weekend. I love you. I love that you do this stuff. I need to. Well, I don't see. I don't know. I don't know if there's things like that I just haven't done. I don't know if I would have it in me. I'm so in awe of that. It's so amazing to me, and I love your posts when you share all that stuff. It just lights me up. Yeah, and you release not being responsible for other people's happiness. Oh, it was so powerful. That's amazing. That is so. That's a big one, right? Yeah. They're always telling me, they're always sharing messages like that with people. It's like you're not responsible for other people's happiness. And what they always they pop in often. I had a lovely session with someone a few weeks back, maybe it was a few months ago, I don't know, and they were saying that when you feel that responsibility for others, like they're being happy because of what you've done or not done, or we just have this responsibility, visualize them with their team of guides around them. So you know how you've got your own team. If you imagine that person and visualize their angels, their guides, their ancestors, because each of us has like a whole team, not just like one guide. We have an entire team. So if you can see that they've got their entire team around them, guiding them, nudging them, whether they hear it or not, or whether they sense it or not is another thing. And that's between that person and their guides. Their guides fully know, but just see them in their highest version and see that they're being supported, nudged and guided. So it's not on your shoulders. I do that. I practice that now. It's a really good one for me, because sometimes I have that too. And I feel like, oh, it's not really my responsibility, right? At all. So I love that you release that. That's amazing. Feeling everything you're saying. I have goosebumps. Oh, I'm glad. I'm happy. Shivers are good. So Lisa, I think the wondering about how I will manage it holds me back. Yeah, I've added and manage it with ease and flow to my visioning. Yeah, maybe the word manage, check it out for you. Maybe the word manage though feels a little, it's like quite responsible, isn't it? It's quite, you've got to manage is you've got to do something with this thing. What about, what would come through? Hold on, let's see. What's an easier word? Well, you can tune in for yourself as well. But rather than manage, I wonder if it's just receiving it, being with it, aligning with it, stepping into it. I don't know what you're manifesting specifically, but yeah, just see. Because for me, if I was going to manage something, for me personally, I would probably go into some of that responsibility energy, or it's like managing something doesn't sound so fun. Maybe like it wouldn't for me. So maybe there's another word that you can use. Yeah, because it's more ease and flow, right? You get to have it. Like imagine, okay, this is a bit like receiving mode. Imagine if someone brings you a birthday cake and it's a big birthday cake with loads of candles and like sparklers, and it's like just loads of delicious stuff on this birthday cake, and they bring it to you because it's so glorious. You wouldn't take it and go, I've got to manage this cake now because it's really big. It's like, oh my God. You might see it in another way. Like you might go, wow, this is so big. Wow, I'm going to need a bigger table for this. I'm going to put it down like somewhere really like spectacular so I can really see it and admire it and get used to it and see it from different angles and have a taste, right? So play around with the wording. Yeah, but I love that. But ease and flow, definitely, because that's so much better. So much better. Okay. Emma, I've never done anything like that before. 14 other women. Wow. Some in their 60s, all naked. Wow. My client was telling me the other day she goes to a beach, like a naked beach. I'm just so in awe of this. I probably need some of this at some point. I really am, because I think it's so liberating, right? I've never experienced being held and supported by women like that. Mind blown. I need to do a post about it now that I've had a chance to process. Yeah, I would love to hear about that. I'll check out your post later if you're going to post. But yeah, that's a huge thing. And there's something about women like all like connecting, and the ages. I love the whole mixture of ages thing. I love that. That's why I love this group, because I know we've got like people from different. I tend to have like people of different ages. I like people who are younger than me and older than me and the same age as me, because I think we can learn so much. Like sometimes when we have these spaces where like everybody's exactly the same age and background and doing the same thing, I don't know, it feels a little bit restrictive, but I love that. Yeah, post about that. That would be amazing. Definitely. Oh, Lisa, it's tricky because it's the doing that will come when I get the things. Okay, that might be causing hesitation. Yeah. So I want to homestead. That's a big deal. Lots is involved. Okay. So yeah, so when you get the thing, it will create more doing. And yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? Let's see what wants to come through on that. Yeah, it's like the thing. Yeah, like it's like, yeah, it's almost like, it's kind of like responsibility, isn't it? It's kind of going like when you expand. So if you leap over these stepping stones and you expand and you become this bigger version of you, it's like, does it require you to do more? And then sometimes it holds us back. So sometimes we do slow down our manifestation. Like, what would it mean? So maybe it's really getting into, what are you making it mean? Like, yes, there are things involved, but like I'll use myself as an example. It's the easiest way for me to explain it. So let's say I'm created my business. Like I have very big plans to expand my business. So the way I see it in the future, whenever that will be, is I'm going to have lots of working parts, lots of like empire type things, because I have so many things. And that's why I want to create wealth and abundance and then flow that into systems and structures. So I'm gonna be someone who has a lot of pieces, and my husband as well. So like we're going to have a lot of working parts. That's just part of, like, I absolutely know that's part of my soul path. So if I was to go into the how, like, oh my God, how am I going to manage all these things? Then it does start to become overwhelming, because I've definitely gone into that. But how I choose to see it now is that it gets to be easy. Now, I'm not saying that with like being naive, because it doesn't mean that there's not a lot of things involved, but the how we do it is very much up to us. So maybe you just shift the rules that you've got. Like, does it mean that the more you've got to do, the harder it is? The more that you're holding, the more stressful it is? That's just a belief. That's just a kind of old paradigm stuff. But what if you're able to get support? What if you allowed yourself to have exactly the right people that came in to help you and support you? What if you were on a path that things just came in really easily, that you were so aligned with what you were doing, the universe will just rearrange things around you and support you? So maybe it's about being supported, maybe, because often we feel like, oh, there's so much to do, and then it becomes a burden, right? So that's an interesting one as well. I wonder who else resonates with that, because that can sometimes that can stop us from expanding, because it's like, oh, if we go into that next level, that's going to give us more responsibility. I had some of that. So what's coming to me is when I recovered from my illness, because I got burnt out like severely with ME, chronic fatigue, and I was like housebound for years, I equated with when I have a lot of things to do, I become ill. So I had this kind of paradigm of when I'm at my most productive, because I'm very all or nothing. So I throw myself into things or I don't. So I just don't do things. And then I throw myself, like I binge work. It's kind of how I do it. So I kind of made this equation of when I'm busy and productive and I have good things happening and I'm receiving more clients and I've got more things going on in the business, I'm going to end up burning myself out and having to do a lot more. And because I didn't know how to manage that, and I really didn't want to recreate that illness, I held myself back for quite a few years in this business, because my growth in this business has been very slow, very slow. So that's all changing now, but it has been really slow. So I had to kind of change what I meant by that and change my energy around that. Yeah, because it's the thing that can keep us secretly. We don't want bad things to happen to us, so we have a secondary gain to staying still, because we're trying to avoid something like the pressure, the responsibility, the headache, or whatever it is. So yes, your example with the moving parts is a good one. I like the idea of support. Yeah, me, the lone wolf. Yes. Thanks. Yeah, you're welcome. Lone wolf energy, right? I have that. I have that so bad. I'm really working out of that and shifting out of that, because I recognize that I need support, and I also want to connect with people more. Like I want to cultivate more relationship, particularly with women, actually, like you guys here, like great, like people who get me, where I don't have to just be, it's just me, like I've been like that for such a long time, and I'm someone who very much likes her own space. So I'll might meet up with someone, then I'll just hide away because I really love my own space. It's just part of my design. So yeah, the lone wolf thing is a thing, right? We might talk about that another time, because that's a big one. Yeah, everything is speeding up right now. So much expansion. Yes, there is so much expansion going on. Yeah, it is speeding up. It really, really is. Yeah, we are a lot alike, I think. Yeah, I think we touched on that before, right? You have, and Emma has that lone wolf energy too. I love that we're all here with that lone wolf, because the reason why it's great, I think, is because I love all you fellow lone wolves, because to me it feels safe. So to me it feels like I can connect with you, and it's like when you have that kind of energy, like I love connecting with people who I know that they also love their own space. Like, and I don't mean this in a horrible way, but sometimes, when you connect with someone and then they feel like, oh, then they'll just connect with you all the time, or they'll want to see you all the time, or they want to like meet up with you. And I'm not like that. I'm just saying this on a live stream, but it's like I embrace that part of me now. It's like I'm really lone wolf energy, and I'm so happy like with my own company. And my husband's the same. Like we have really good connections, and then we just go away from each other. Because he needs his own space, I need my own space, and we really couldn't probably function very well if we didn't have that. So here's to the lone wolf. I'm liking this. I love that, because it also means that you've got your own thoughts as well, right? So it's nice that as lone wolves we can connect with each other, right, and support each other and cheer each other on, and then go off and do our thing, right, and have our own independent thoughts, right? I love this. I love it. So thank you for sharing that. So that is it, I guess. It's like just stepping into, stepping over stepping stones and going into that. And as you said, Emma, everything's speeding up right now, and there's so much expansion happening. On that note, just to let any of you know, I've got a link up above, because I just put out a post today, very excited, about my new offer. I like putting different ways out of working. It goes against like the expert advice of just sticking to the same thing, but if an idea comes through, it comes through. But I wanted to set up a kind of space of 4 weeks, like having 4 weekly sessions, basically for expansion, the words just come up, to help you either life or business focused expansion, private one-to-one. So the link is up there, so check that out if you're feeling the call for that, because it's something that I can do very excitedly. So if you want to work with me for 4 weeks, check that out. And I've put a massive discount on there because I haven't launched it properly. I'm just going to put it on my website properly from Monday. So I've just said if you book before that, massive discount, so you can check that out on there. But yeah, it's all about expansion, leaping out over the stepping stones and giving yourself permission to really embrace this. And also, just one final thing, if you're finding the energies speedy, because I have, and I've lost sense of time, like I literally don't know what day of the week it is unless I look in my calendar. Just doing a lot of grounding, right? And I'm sure you all know this, but just reminding you to do the grounding and making sure that, because a lot of the stuff energetically is speedy, ideas are coming through, next leaps are coming through. So just to support yourself, just a lot of grounding, a lot of just extra care. Like I find lots of baths for me, just getting in the water just helps me come back into my body, not go too loopy loop, because I can I can get a little spacey, and just kind of anchoring that energy in, because we want to be able to like pull the energy in to our body so we can like integrate it, right? Like and really integrate it, and so that it sticks and that it lasts, so that we're not going back and forth, that we can really sort of move forwards. And you might be surprised how quickly things shift right now. Like things that maybe you've been stuck on for a while now get to shift and expand fairly rapidly. Lots of shifts are happening a lot quicker for people. And also, if you're feeling super stuck, it can also be that the ways that you were doing it before are needing an expansion, because a lot of people are finding this was working for me and now it isn't, right? Relationships, ways of producing things, creating things, client work, business work, whatever it is, even your food and your diet, we're finding that a lot of things that were in alignment aren't now. So also, if that's you, check out the link above if you want some assistance with that, because it's all about expansion. So there might be some things that you're needing to kind of pull in and move, so many changes. So send you so much love. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning into the replay as well, if you're watching the replay. And yes, let's have a great rest of the month, because March is going a bit speedy or something. It's a weird time right now, a weird and magical time. I've at least 4 baths a week, sometimes every day. Yeah, it's my recharge. I started having baths in the morning. I shared the meme in this group the other day, and I genuinely meant it. I started my day with a bubble bath. It's the best thing, because for me, I had this rule of showers in the morning for some reason, baths in the evening. And then I changed that to baths in the day because I love it. And then I thought, what if I started like that bubble bath that I really look forward to in the evening? What if I did that first thing in the morning? So it feels really indulgent to just start the day in the bath, but it's like the best thing in the world. So the more baths, the better for me. So it's great. Yeah, it's my way to recharge as well. It's like it just solves every problem I have in my life. If I get in the bath, all is well. All is well. So lots of love to all of you. Thank you for joining me. Yes, okay, good. Yeah, go do it. Like have a day bath, have a morning bath, have a whatever time of day you want bath, but first thing in the morning is just fantastic. Like if that's the first thing you do, like I even did it before what I've been doing is getting in the bath and then doing my meditation in the bath, because I would have meditated just on my chair or on my bed. So I was like, why don't I get in the water and meditate in the water? Or if sometimes I listen to affirmations and things. Well, why don't I just do that whilst I'm in the bath, whilst I have a coffee? sometimes. Sometimes I do like all things and then I think, oh my God, I'm so productive because I'm doing like 3 things at once. And then I come out of the bath and I feel amazing. And then I just get dressed and then I'm like, oh my God, I can do everything. So that's just my little life hack. It works. It definitely works. So lots of love. And yeah, thanks for joining me. And I'll talk to you. Yeah, we'll connect and we'll keep the conversation going. I like this lone wolf conversation. So I think we should come back to that. All right. Have a good rest of your day. All right. Lots of love. Talk to you very soon.